The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Velrith of the Corthian Empire adjusted his ceremonial plating, preparing to greet what intelligence reports had described as a primitive but promising species. Behind the transparent aluminum barrier, a dozen juvenile Corthians, cubs barely past their 5th molt, pressed their snouts against the glass, eager to witness first contact with the newcomers. Selene walked with measured steps, her boots echoing against the polished obsidian floor. She wore no armor, carried no weapons, only the simple gray uniform of Earth's Expeditionary Corps. Her dark eyes scanned the assembled dignitaries with the calm assessment of someone who had seen far worse than a room full of aliens. "Welcome, human," Velrith began, his translator device rendering his clicks and whistles into flat, emotionless words. "We have reviewed your species credentials. Your technological achievements are adequate. Your military capacity is modest. Based on our assessment, we are prepared to offer Earth a position within our Protectorate." Selene's expression didn't change. "A Protectorate?" "Indeed," Velrith gestured with one of his forearms. "You will be assigned a Caretaker classification. Your species will contribute to our empire through resource management and support services. It is an honorable role. Many species have thrived under our guidance." The other council members chittered their agreement. The Strilith representative coiled tighter around his hovering platform. The crystalline Vex entity pulsed with what might have been approval. Even the nomadic Threx, who rarely agreed on anything, nodded their massive heads. Behind the barrier, young Raker's dorsal spines flattened against his back. Something felt wrong. He had been studying the human broadcasts his clutchmate had illegally downloaded from their datasphere. The images he had seen, the stories he had heard, they didn't match the word caretaker at all. "I see," Selene said quietly. "And this classification, it's permanent." "All classifications are permanent," Velrith replied. "They are determined by comprehensive analysis. Your species lacks the physical prowess of warrior races, the intellectual capacity of the scholar species, and the spiritual depth of the enlightened ones. Caretaker is appropriate. You should be pleased. It means you will be protected, guided, nurtured under our wings." Selene's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Protected. Yes, the galaxy is dangerous, human. Your people have only just achieved faster-than-light travel. You know nothing of the void predators, the dimensional rifts, the ancient machines that still hunt in dead systems. As caretakers, you will be shielded from such horrors." In the observation area, Raker couldn't stay quiet any longer. His translator collar activated as he pressed the emergency communication button, a feature meant only for dire situations. "That's wrong." His young voice crackled through the chamber speakers. Every head turned. Velrith's eye stalk swiveled toward the barrier. "Who dares interrupt council proceedings?" Raker's clutchmates tried to pull him back, but he shook them off, stepping closer to the glass. "I said you're wrong, Uncle Velrith. She's not a caretaker. Silence, cub. You know nothing of these matters." "I know what I've seen." Raker's spines rose defiantly. "I've watched their histories. I've studied their archives. Humans don't take care of things, they fight for them. They fought predators with nothing but sharpened stones. They survived ice ages that would have killed us. They split the atom and touched their moon before they even knew we existed." Selene's eyes found the young Corthian behind the glass. For the first time since entering the chamber, something like a smile touched her lips. "This is inappropriate," Velrith hissed. "Remove the cubs from—" "She walked into our den," Raker shouted, his voice cracking with emotion. "A den full of species that could crush her, eat her, dissolve her with acid, and she walked in alone with no weapons, no armor, and she didn't even flinch. Caretakers don't do that. Commanders do that." The chamber erupted in chaos. Council members shouted for order. Security drones hummed to life. But Raker wasn't finished. "I read about their World War II. 70 million dead and they kept fighting. I read about their Mars colony disaster, when the oxygen processors failed and everyone should have died, but they didn't. They turned algae into air and survived on recycled water for 8 months until rescue came. I read about the Mumbai plague, the Jakarta floods, the Toronto siege. Every time extinction came knocking, they answered with defiance." Another cub pressed forward. Then another. Soon a dozen young voices joined Raker's. "They don't surrender. They protect the weak. They run toward danger. They're pack-bonding species who adopt other species' orphans." Celine stepped forward and the chamber fell silent once more. She looked up at the assembled council, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of 10,000 years of human struggle. "My species has a saying," she began. "We didn't claw our way to the top of Earth's food chain to be anyone's pets." She paused, letting the words settle. "But we also have another saying. We judge people not by their strength but by what they do with it." She turned slightly, acknowledging the cubs behind the barrier. "Your children see us more clearly than you do. They see what we are, not what you want us to be. We're not asking for your protection. We're offering our partnership. We're offering what humanity has always offered to those who treat us as equals." "And what is that?" Velrith asked, his tone uncertain for the first time. "Everything we have. Every ounce of our stubborn, foolish, relentless determination to survive. To protect. To stand between the darkness and those who cannot stand themselves." Celine's eyes hardened. "You want to know what classification fits humanity? Ask your cubs. They've already figured it out." Raker pressed his clawed hand against the glass. "Commander," he said firmly. "She's a commander. They all are." The other cubs echoed him, their young voices filled with certainty. "Commander, commander, commander." Velrith looked at the human standing before him, small, fragile, impossibly brave, and finally understood what his children had seen. Humans weren't meant to be protected. They were meant to be the ones doing the protecting. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we need to revise our assessment." Celine nodded once. "Perhaps you do." As the council dissolved into urgent deliberations, Raker watched the human woman with admiration burning in his chest. Someday, he thought, he would serve alongside humans, not above them, not below them, beside them, where all true warriors belonged.